Hello, Sense Business YouTubers. How are you doing? Today's lesson, I'll be teaching you guys 3.4 marketing strategy. It is an IGCSE business topic. By the way, have you checked my website? There's plenty of useful resources on this topic and the whole of IGCSE business. So make sure that you check that out in the description link below. Great stuff. So this is the outcome, today's lesson's outcome. Just have a little read and make sure that you understand what we're going to talk about today. Great stuff. So let's start our lesson now. So, marketing strategy. For us to understand that, we first need to know the definition. So, the definition of marketing strategy is a plan of action designed to promote and sell a product or service. So, it is a plan or action that have been put together to promote and sell a product or service. So, in a way, it is a way of combining the 4 P's of marketing: product, price, place, promotion in the right combination to achieve marketing objectives. So marketing objectives can be to increase sales, increase market share, enter a new market. So these are some examples of marketing objectives. If you remember, we talked about the marketing mix P's in an earlier lesson, so make sure you watch that if you're not sure what this means. So we have got 4 main P's and we have got a few other P's that aid a business to be successful. So, why is strategy important? Strategy is like a road map. It tells you how to get where you're going. So it gives you clear direction of where you need to be or where you need to go. What you'll need to get there. So the strategy tells you how and what you need to get to where you need to be, and it estimates how long it will take you to get there. It will identify any dangers that you might or you will face. So this is why strategy is very important for any business, and all successful businesses have a clear and step-by-step strategy, and that's why they have become successful. And if you don't have a clear strategy, you will be like this guy here, confused. So what happens when you don't have a clear strategy? You make lots of mistakes. You make a hell of a lot of mistakes because you don't know what's gonna happen next. You waste time and other resources, so you could be wasting time and resources that you don't really need to waste. You are likely to never approach your intended aim. So, because there's so many things that you are missing out, you'll never be able to achieve that. So, we'll talk about Apple's marketing strategy. Apple, everybody knows, a very famous company. I'm sure if you're watching this video in England, India, China, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Malaysia, anywhere, you will know Apple. And the reason for that is because they have a good marketing strategy. They make people or its target audience feel. So they make them feel a certain way when they use the product, whether it's better or excited. They just make their customers, the way they advertise it, they make them special. So if you have an Apple phone, so like let's say a Samsung Galaxy, sorry, if you have an iPhone 10X, people are like, wow, he's got an iPhone 10X. It's about that special features, the smartness. It segments you from other people. It tells something about you. So it's the company uses market strategy to make its consumers feel special, better, and unique. So they are constant. What that means is that every store is the same. when you enter their store, you feel the same, and nearly all stores are painted the same color, and they have got like similar or same layouts in all their shops, and every product is the same. So you'll not get an iPhone 10x with different things. All iPhone 10x will be same unless you choose to have different colors. They all have same features. So their adverts shows what you can do with the product rather than talk about prices and speeds and so on, and that is quite good, because if you talk about prices and speeds, not everybody understands speeds and not everybody likes the prices, and it puts them off straight away. But if you show them what they can do with the product, then they are like, wow, yes, I definitely need this product. So for example, iPad, you could have an iPad. I'm sure you have seen the advert. They have an iPad where they do designs on it. So people that like designs, they see that and they say, wow, I could design all my illustration on a tablet digitally instead of doing it on paper. So do you get what I mean? It's kind of showing people what they can do with the products. They use catchy and familiar scenes to remember their products. So all Apple products will relate it to family, and they will use all the catchy scenes that you see every day to help you remember Apple. For example, like the apple itself, as soon as you tell somebody Apple, nobody thinks of the real fruit anymore. They instantly think about the brand, the company, and that's because Apple's used or has a fantastic market strategy, which has resulted in everybody feeling that way about their product. So there are some legal controls on marketing that we need to understand. So the law gives customer protection against unfair selling practices. So uh, from big companies like Apple, Samsung, Cola, and so on, the law protects us and it stops them from selling faulty phones to us. But where in an advert they show a nice phone and then they send us a broken phone, so we are protected against that. So we need to understand how fair trading regulation protects the consumers. You'll need that for your exam. So the consumer has basic legal rights if the product is given a misleading description. So you see an advert that says it will last for the battery life will last, for example, 10 days, but it's not true. The battery life will last only a day. So that is a misleading description of the product. So you are protected against that. You could get back your money. So of unsatisfactory quality, so the quality of the product is not so great, you are covered by that. Not fit for its intended purpose. So let's say an iPhone that you cannot make calls with, so that was not fit for purpose, so you could claim back your money if you have been sold one of them phones. So misleading promotions, false advertising of a product. So what that means is, so if you have an iPhone that is only capable of doing uh, let's say 10 different tasks, but you advertise that iPhone as being capable of 20 different tasks, so that is misleading promotion, because that is not true. The iPhone can only do 10 different tasks. Does that make sense? Do you understand? So weights and measures. So businesses cannot sell underweight goods, like for example a chocolate bar containing less chocolate than advertised. So you could have an advertised to say that 100 gram of a chocolate bar for £1, but then when somebody goes to the shop, they only get a 50-gram chocolate bar for £1. So that is false advertising. Sale of goods. What that means is businesses cannot sell products that are faulty or doesn't work like it is advertised. So what you need to remember on this is that sometimes you can sell faulty products, but you need to note it for them, and you need to specify it to the customer before letting them go get away with it, or to go take the product home. So there are some legal acts in the UK that I've put down here, but what you need to remember is that all the countries will have different acts to ensure consumer rights are not violated. These are only for the UK. So Sales and Supply of Goods Act 1994. This act says that all products have to be of satisfactory quality. This means that they have to be safe, last for a reasonable amount of time, be fit for their intended purpose, have nothing wrong with them unless the defect was noted at the time of sale, like I said earlier. And then we have another act called Trade Description Act. What this act does is, according to this act, false or misleading information must not be given about the product. For example, accurate information must be given about who made the product. So if Apple's made a product, you need to give information that Apple's made that product. If something's made a product, a company must tell them that something's made that product. So fake designer goods that are marked as genuine are clear breach of trade Description Act. So what that means is, so let's say there are some fake iPhones from China. So these are against the law because they're not really iPhones, they're just fake iPhones. They are not designed by Apple, they are not produced by Apple. It's a different company that has created them, and they simply use Apple's logos on it. So these are fake designer goods. And then we have Consumer Credit Act 1974. So this act is more about borrowing money rather than uh, goods and promotion. So what this act talks about is that you cannot let let people borrow money from you and then charge them ridiculous amount of money in return. So when you're advertising your credit, you need to ensure that you advertise it as you intend to give the credit. So you'll need to include in the annual percentage rate and so on, and you need to agree that with the customer. And if some customers sign this, they have a cooling period, so they can cancel it at any time they want. So you need to, as a business, they need to give them that option. So this is not so much for you guys, so we'll just talk about these two, so they were the important ones. So opportunities and problems of entering markets abroad. So this is a big one. So the opportunities are that there's low trade barriers. This allows businesses to trade easily and profitably between countries. So home markets are saturated. What this means is that demand for the product are no longer growing in the country of birth. So if, let's say, if here in the UK or United Kingdom we produce a product, it's gonna die after 2-3 years. Not many people are gonna buy it. The demand will fall. So what will happen is businesses will send this to abroad, to other countries, and they will start buying the product, and the company is going to survive. So countries developing, what here is that new markets open up abroad as other countries become more developed. This results in demand for products of developed countries. So countries like India, China, Malaysia, these are developing countries, and they become attractive attracted to the new products, the products that developed countries use, and that's why some businesses will go and start selling there. And this is an opportunity for a business to enter a new market because their product is well liked abroad. So the problem that some businesses will face when entering a new market is the communication. This is the very important. It's the cultural misunderstanding arising from miscommunication are one of the biggest challenges which foreign companies face. Because if you go to, let's say, India, and you're in Mumbai, it's called. So, forgive me if if there's any Indian audience here, students. Is it called Bombay or something? And in capital of India, that's terrible that I don't even know it. So if they, let's say, I'm sorry if I'm terrible. Sorry that I can't even say that. I don't even know what the capital of India is. But let's talk about Pakistan. So let's say that we want to open a company in Islamabad, capital of Pakistan. And if somebody that is from there, they will know way more about the local shop in Islamabad than if somebody from England went to open a shop in Islamabad. Does that make sense? So the culture is different in Islamabad than it is in England. The communication is different. They use a different language there. We have a different language here. So that is a big problem for some businesses. High transport cost is another one. There's increased cost as businesses have to pay to ship products abroad. So if you have lots of products here in the UK, taking them over to Pakistan or India or China or Japan, it is going to cost a hell of a lot of money. Lack of knowledge. Again, it's about not knowing what habits in the country we are going to expand. So what the consumers like there. It is going to be a very hard task if you don't know anything about the local area and the local people's habits of what they want to buy. And then there are some trade barriers. So countries may have trade barriers to protect local businesses. This may make importing products less profitable for other businesses. Then there's exchange rate. Exchange rates can change, which may mean that most of importing products may become more expensive. So if the pound falls and let's say Indian money goes up or Pakistani money goes up, then if we send products there, we will not be making any money because the rates are high. So these are some of the problems businesses might face when entering new market. But don't worry, because we could overcome some of these problems. So we could have a joint venture. A joint venture can be created between a business in different countries. And then we could have international franchising. For example, McDonald's is great at this. So it's a US company that can sell its franchises to franchiser in any country with local knowledge. So you could have a McDonald's. There probably is a McDonald's in Islamabad, but that is not. It is part of the US company, but it is actually a Pakistani people running it. Or you could have some McDonald's in India, some local Indian dudes will be running that. So does that make sense? Or we could have international franchising, or we could have licensing. So business can sell the license of their products to a business in another country to avoid trade barriers. So we could sell them the license and they could start producing and selling the same product as us in another country, but we simply charge them and get a percentage of the profit. Or we could learn to understand another culture where we want to start the business. So we could learn their culture and understand how things are done there to make profit and to become good at the job that we do. Finally, question time. Have you got any questions for me? Please write them down in the comment section below. I have one question for you. That is, what is Nike's marketing strategy? So, could you Write that down for me in description below. I also want to say that I said it on my previous video as well that I have one iPhone to give away, because I talk a lot about iPhone, so I thought it would be ideal if I buy one and give it away. So for next 5-6 videos I'll be mentioning this iPhone that I'm about to give away. So whoever answers these questions that I have at the end of each video will be entered, or I will select them to send this iPhone to. It is completely for free. There's no charge to that. As you might know, I make some sort of money from these YouTube videos and from my website. So I thought I'll just help my students out and make them feel good by giving them a little present. So make sure that you answer this question, and it will help you to understand marketing strategy of a business, and also you could win that iPhone and I will personally message you. So thank you for watching. Please make sure that you comment any questions that you have and answer this question for a chance to win that iPhone. So till next video, take care and make sure that you check my website because it has got a lot of information there as well. Thank you guys. Bye.